Okay.
Welcome everyone to the Pantheon. I am Ray.
And I'm Evy.
And Evy, what are we looking at today?
We are looking at what are we looking at
Oh,
today?
we're looking at the final two
Falcon.
episodes of
Oh,
Falcon.
yes. Okay. Yeah, this episode is cool. They bring in a new character who actually suffered because of his race, and somebody else who actually suffers because of their past. It was a black gentleman who actually found out that a black guy got, what's his name? He was a soldier. And they find out that he suffered because he was a black guy.
Right.
And
I'll help you with this one. They'll give you a little. I forgot his name too, but let's call him John. It's not John. Well, let's say his name is John.
Right.
So before Steve Rogers got the super soldier serum, they experimented on other people before they perfected it. And John was obviously the Germans created the serum first. The person they defected, one of the top scientists defected, came to America, and he created the serum for Steve Rogers. But before that, there was test subjects. And one of the subjects, according to the comic books, was this black gentleman named John Armstrong.
You're right.
I forget his name, but you're right. Anyway, so he was one of the first super soldiers, and he survived. They had like many African Americans or blacks who got injected with it. Only, I think maybe there was like 300 test trials, and only 5 survived the test trials. So he went in the movie in the first Avengers. Steve went in to save all those POWs from invasion. When he went in, when he came back, he was in prison. And he was tested upon, and they prodded him and poked him and took his blood, and which kind of led into where we're going to now with the flag smashers. So there you go.
Yeah. And this really happened. People being tested, for things, which was interesting. I didn't know that before. People, soldiers being tested and this and that. That was interesting how this actually happened. You had something else to say, Ray?
Well, no, I was just saying, so this is these are the last 2 episodes to keep you up to speed to where we are. We get the main characters are Baron Zemo. He's brought back. He's taken out of prison. By Bucky and Sam, the Falcon Winter Soldier. They're trying to find these flag smashers, who are these people who recreated vials of the super soldier serum. So these are a bunch of enhanced human beings. And Zemo, we learned in Captain America, was it Winter Soldier? Was it Winter Soldier, right? When they fought. So he hates the idea of these super enhanced human beings. So his whole thing was to stop him using Winter Soldier, and there was a twist to that movie. But anyway, so they dug him out because he has the records that were able to find these guys or find out who manufactured that. And so he leads them into Madripoor, all kinds of areas in comic book lore to find these guys. And and of course, he's unfortunately was the person who directly kills the father of T'Chaka at the UN. So you have the people of Wakanda upset, and rightfully so, that he's free. And so they come gunning for him. And so you have a combination of the past coming for you, as well as them trying to find these people who are terrorists. And their ideals. What's cool about this, like the flag smashers have the ideals of like a nation without boundaries. That's their gimmick. There's just that they're radical, meaning like rather than creating equality, they do it through terroristic and radical means. So it's like the Black Panther character, the villain, Killmonger. His suffering is legitimate. Like his reasons for what he's doing is legitimate. You can sympathize with it. You can understand where he's coming from. but his methods are just too radical to agree with it. I just you can't really come on board with it. So this is the same, really. This is sort of the very same thing that, when we have the Flag Smashers. So sorry, go ahead.
So there's a ethical question too, like is this legal or should it not, based on what you think, because you have these flag smashers like who just think that they deserve like to do this. For me, that was the question. Like when I stopped watching it, it's like, should this be legal? Should it be not, regardless of what happens? So it left me with this for some reason, or like when is it good, when is it bad? That's the question I had at the end of it. So yeah, go ahead, Ray.
No, I just said that absolutely, and that's where that's where the first 4 episodes leads us up to, and then from here now we get into the more action. This is where we get to the culmination. So the last 2 episodes was where we get at this point, John, the new captain. There's a new Captain America, and he now is injected with himself with the serum to go combat the Flag Smashers, because his friend gets killed during a confrontation, and he's driven by rage, and though he is the new face of America. And then I guess there's we spoke about this in an earlier episode, like what Bucky and Sam feels about it, and because Captain Steve gave them the shield. Steve risked his life to save Bucky. Steve gave Sam the shield. So there's there's a lot of things weighing on them of living up to the ideals. So I like the idea there is some trauma, and there's one episode, there's one segment to Bucky's character that he has from Winter Soldier. He has done some serious bad, and his baggage. Like there's a elderly Asian man who he killed his son, and he can't bring himself to tell him what he's done, and they're best friends, like they're really good friends. So that story arc, that little sub story, it gets addressed, but I think they really gloss over that segment, and I wish they could go a little deeper. Though maybe not. I don't know. It's just a little hard to tell you what's how far you can go with it or not. But there's a huge fight sequence in episode 5 with the 3 of them going at it. And it kind of leads up into where we are going to be going with this future of this series. The Wakandans come back. There's something there's a kind of, I would say, a Pulp Fiction suitcase scene, which I thought was really cool. It made me think of Pulp Fiction. You may know what I'm referring to. But in terms of episodes 5 and 6, what were your thoughts on that?
I didn't expect to see all the terrorist stuff and the main character doing this evil, like blowing up stuff and the whole friendship thing. There's just a lot there to kind of thinking on. It was really, really good. Special effects were really good. But yeah, it kind of leaves me with a question, or anybody else, like when is it good like to do bad, and when is it bad that can come from good? Can't tell you. So yeah, it kind of reminds me of I would say 9/11. Some people thought that to do the harm was good, and to do good was bad. So so where do we draw the line? So I can relate it to, I guess, real life, or so can anybody else. Anyway, we should just think about when to do good, when to do bad. I'm still thinking about that, and what we should do, like helping people and not doing bad. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. What about you, Ray?
Well, it's funny because you really described in terms of real life events, the verisimilitude of like real life events with the mirroring of this show. Unfortunately, I like this show. Val, which is Julie Louis-Dreyfus's character, who's introduced in episode 5. One theory is that it kind of sets up the Thunderbolts. There is episode 6 kind of gives another theory out, but there is the character of Sharon Carter. I think is amazing. I think what they do with her, there's a shocking kind of like twist to that character, which especially there's a almost biblical sequence where Sam comes down in episode 6. You know what we're referring to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there is and it involves Sharon, but then there's it's like the angel Michael, which is sort of really cool. This occurred to me now. It's a really cool visual element, and then when you think of angels and demons, you have a betrayal, and then you have a character like Sharon. I'm punching holes in what I'm trying to say, not to for those who haven't seen it, but Sharon Carter gets promoted in this movie. There is initially she's still on the run since Civil War, so she gets reinstated, and where that goes is going to be very interesting. What it leads into for the future. What were your thoughts on that one?
You know what? I don't know what I think of that. Between good and bad, and like what's going on, why people do what they do. That one caught me off guard.
Would you recommend this series?
I would personally. Yeah, makes you think. Makes you wake up a little bit about what happens. With good and bad, and think, and we should think about what we do, what we say, and we should just not think about, just think about love, and think about love and why we do what we do, and to, I guess, just think about becoming a better person, and less about harming people.
Like redemption songs?
Yeah, like redemption song, like the Bob Marley, because we have to. I don't think I could say the lyrics. I don't want to get sued or anything.
Yeah, it's true. Like the Beatles, we can't even do 2 bars of the Beatles.
Exactly.
We'll lose our sight.
Yeah.
Okay, so on that note, we'll call it off. But I agree with you on totally I'm on board with what you're saying. It's like what Bucky and what they all have to deal with. So there's some really good themes. There's very good content here, and I'd recommend people to watch it for that. And it's a really good follow up with Civil War and with First Avengers. So if you like those, just a little bit more added, a souffle of added content with Bucky and Sam, the sidekicks, if you will, they're coming into their own, and it's an interesting story where they go, and they're carrying all that baggage from the past and working through that, So it's really
they work through it.
Yeah, so it was good. Okay, well, with that, I'm Ray,
and I'm Evy.
We'll talk to you next week. Take care.
Next week. Take care.